can't see the fight. Smoke and mirrors, they lead the way. Fooling hearts night after day. Welcome to the show, it's all pretend. The smiles, the lies, the perfect end. The world's a stage, they run the flow. You clap on cue down in the front row. Painted faces, masks of stone. A hollow laugh that chills the bone. Puppets dangle strings unseen. Life's a trick, a cruel machine. Do you see it? Do you feel it? Or just believe it? Welcome to the show, it's all pretend. The smiles, the lies, the perfect end. The world's a stage, they run.
All right, guys and gals, welcome back to another episode of Breaking the System. For most of my listeners out there, this one's going to hit a little closer to home. We're going to be talking about I-70 and potentially I-57, okay? So that's Interstate 70 and Interstate 57. So let's just jump right into this. They say that history is written by the victors, but in the Midwest, it's written in the fine print of a 600-page legislative amendment. And today we're looking at a stretch of road we know, or we all know, as I-70. And for decades, it's been the backbone of the heartland, a free path from the Gateway Arch to the Ohio River. But as of March of this year, the free part of that sentence is potentially being erased. Yes, you heard that right. It's potentially being erased. Okay? And so here's how. Right now, a high-stakes game of chicken is playing out between Springfield and Indianapolis. It involves a massive $6.5 billion expansion plan, a legislative rescue, so to speak, bill called SB 2111, and a fundamental shift in how we view the road beneath the tires of our vehicles. We are moving from a world where we pay for roads through a tax at the pump to a world where we pay to exist in the fast lane. And today, we look at following the money from the State House to the toll gantry. And so first, let's talk about Indiana, because Illinois, or what I've heard, is that Illinois is going to base a lot of their decision-making off whether this whole thing passes in Indiana first, okay? And then Illinois is supposedly going to build onto that later on down the line. And so let's talk about the Indiana land grab. So, and this is the immediate catalyst. This week, the administration of Indiana, Governor Mike Braun, did something unprecedented. They officially submitted a formal application to the Federal Highway Administration to turn the entire 156-mile stretch of I-70 across Indiana. So we're talking about from border to border of Indiana into a potential toll road. Okay? And this isn't just a proposal for new miles around Indy. This is state line to state line. And the numbers are enough to make any commuter's head spin. And so they're proposing a rate of 10 cents per mile for a passenger car. Okay, and so for semi-trucks, a staggering 54 cents per mile. Okay, so if you're driving from Effingham to Columbus, Ohio, the moment you hit the Indiana line, the clock starts. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, right? And so crossing Indiana will cost a family in an SUV around $15.60. That's one way. If you come back, that's an additional $15.60. Okay? For a truck driver hauling freight, that same 156-mile stretch would cost, one way, $84.24. Okay? Indiana says that they have no choice. They've titled their plan the I-70 Reconstruction and Rehabilitation Pilot Program. They claim that without this toll revenue, it would take 89 years to widen I-70 to the 6 lanes that it desperately needs. They are essentially telling the public you can have a free road that's a parking lot or a fast road that costs you a mortgage payment every month. It's pretty awesome, isn't it? Hell no, it's not, right? And so, from my understanding, what they want to do is they want to take I-70 in Indiana and they want to turn it into 6 lanes. So 3 lanes going east and 3 lanes going west. And that third lane would essentially be a speed lane, and that's where you would pay the toll. My understanding is that you could still travel in the 2 slower lanes and not pay a toll. It's from my understanding, okay? But I don't know how they would keep track of that. So I could be wrong. Might have to look into that a little bit more. But just the fact that they want to toll you to move across the busiest interstate all the way from border to border in Indiana tells you something right there. And for us in Illinois, how is that going to affect us? Okay. Now, while Indiana is being loud and transparent about their tolls, us nice tax-paying citizens of Illinois, we're playing a much quieter, more complex game because, like our awesome, wonderful governor, like he's an amazing person, right? We love our governor. Hell no, we don't. Or at least I don't. You can agree with me if you want. It's up to you. I won't hold it against you. Everyone has their own opinion, right? But I think that our awesome governor taxes us on the air that we breathe if he possibly could and the water that we drink. But Illinois is playing a much quieter and more complex game. We don't have toll gantries on I-70 yet, but we still pay the silent toll. Okay. In December, Illinois passed the Senate Bill 2111, also known as the Northern Illinois Transit Authority Act, and on its face value, it was sold as a way to save Chicago's trains and buses from a fiscal cliff. But the funding mechanism here is where the story gets dark for downstate drivers. And let's be honest, if you live in Illinois, you know if you're downstate, we pay for Chicago, right? And if you ask anybody or you tell somebody oh, I'm from Illinois. Oh, you mean you're from Chicago? No, there's hundreds of miles that's south of Chicago. The rest of us, we don't live in Chicago, but we end up paying for it in the long run. A lot of people don't realize that certain stations in Chicago was actually sold years ago overseas. I believe it was to the United Arabic something or other business for pennies on the dollar. I mean, it was billions of dollars that they got up front. But now the tolls that they pay on those buses, they don't fund anything in Illinois. It goes directly into that company or corporation or that LLC that purchased the rights to that years ago. So go figure. We're getting screwed on a business deal from years ago that we got screwed out of. So historically, the 6.25% sales tax you pay on every gallon of gas was a cornerstone for the road fund. It was a money that was meant to fix the potholes in places like Effingham and Vandalia and Mattoon and Champaign, right? All those places that's south of Chicago. SB 2111 changed that. It redirected, or it will redirect, nearly $860 million of that sales tax revenue away from asphalt and into the coffers of the CTA, the Metra, and the PACE in Chicago. Once again, you and I are going to pay for Chicago's price. Add to that another $200 million in interest taken directly from the road fund, and you're looking at $1 billion raid. And the split? Well, 85% of that money stays in Northeast Illinois. Congratulations. And we are literally taking the money generated by I-70 and I-57 drivers and using it to subsidize train lines 200 miles away. This isn't just a diversion, it's a geographical wealth transfer. So what they're saying here is that Chicago and so Northeast Illinois get 85% of this money, and the rest of us, we're left with 15%. 15%. Oh, that's amazing. Right? It's awesome. It's freaking awesome. It gets even worse. We have what's called the Locksbox, or the lock box. And this is the loophole that they're going to use. So you might remember in 2016, that was the year 80% of Illinois voters stood up and said, enough is enough. We passed the Safe Roads Amendment, commonly called the Lockbox. It was a constitutional mandate. Transportation money must be spent on transportation. But our politicians, being the awesome people that they are, they found a loophole. And the loophole is SB 2111. Okay? The courts have recently clarified that while the excise tax that's flat cents per gallon fee is protected by the lockbox, the sales tax is not. And by labeling gas sales tax as general revenue, the state has effectively picked the lock on the box that we had built. They didn't break the law, they just rewrote the dictionary definition. Just like our politicians in recent years have tried to redefine and rewrite multiple definitions in dictionaries that we've had for years, right? Exactly. This is what these people do, okay? I know, it's so exciting, isn't it? Just makes you all giddy and giggly inside. It's amazing. So where does that leave the consumer in March of 2026? In Illinois, our gas tax is now 48.3% or 48.3 cents per gallon. And it is tied to inflation, meaning it goes up every July 1st automatically. When you add the federal tax and that layered sales tax, yes, it is a tax on top of another tax, and you pay tax on top of that tax. We are roughly paying 85 cents in total sales or total taxes on every single gallon. If you're a truck driver or a commuter in a place like Effingham, you're getting hit from both sides. To the west, Missouri has a tax that is 36 cents lower per gallon. And to the east, Indiana is about to charge you $15 just to pass through. So we in Illinois are living in a tax sandwich. Oh, I love sandwiches. Yes, especially bacon and tomato sandwiches. So good, right? Illinois has become the third most expensive state for gas in the country. But because our road fund is being rated for Chicago transit, our infrastructure is still crumbling. The state's eventual solution to the mess that they created? They are already whispering about Plan B or Choice B, adding our own managed toll roads or toll lanes to I-70 to match that of what Indiana will inevitably do. And keep in mind, I-70 is one of the most, if not the busiest interstate in the country. I mean, it's awesome that the state is finding a way to bring revenue in, but it's another tax. And I know, me personally, I'm sick and tired of paying a tax on top of a tax on top of a tax, and every year it gets just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. Aren't you? Aren't you tired of paying it? So as we wrap up, we have to look at the miseducation of the American driver. We've been told for decades that the gas tax is a user fee. You use the road, you pay for the road. But that social contract has been shredded. And keep in mind, maybe this was a reason that they pushed battery-powered cars, right? All those Teslas and stuff that they wanted to push on us to force us to buy. It's amazing, right? All those little loopholes that they find. So if the money we already pay at the pump is being diverted to transit systems that we don't use, like I'm not going to use the transit system in Chicago. I maybe go to Chicago once every 5 years, and that's too much already. Like, I absolutely hate going to Chicago. I hate Chicago. And the remaining funds aren't enough to fix the roads downstate. Then the tolling of I-70 isn't a new quote-unquote funding source. It's a penalty for the state's mismanagement. Well, that's awesome. So because the people that we elect can't manage the money that we give them, they're just going to ask for more. Do you have more? Do you want, like, do you like working? Do you want to work more to pay a higher tax? Like, does that not sound amazing? Like, no, it doesn't. Okay? So let's ask ourselves a couple questions here. Why is 85% of a statewide tax being locked into a single corner of the state? That's important. It's very important, right? That money should be distributed equally to all of us, but it's not. The economic question. When does it become cheaper for a logistics company to simply bypass Illinois and Indiana entirely? And what does that do to our local crossroads economy? That's pretty damn detrimental. Like, if a lot of these truckers and vacationers, if they travel down a different road, if they go to a different state, if they bypass us altogether, if they fly over us, we as a state, as a commodity, we make nothing off of that. They don't stop. They don't buy anything. Okay? That's huge. That is a huge economic question to how that is going to affect us. It's almost like borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, right? Another question. Why are we allowing taxes to increase automatically based on inflation, when the same inflation is already draining the bank accounts of us, the people, paying the tax? Why did we vote for that? I can tell you why, because the way that they packaged it, they put it in, what they done was they wrapped it up in a neat little box, and they put this beautiful packaging on it, and it was so glistening and pretty and bright and shiny, and then they put this wonderful little bow on top of it, and it just looked so good. It was so pretty, and you bought it. You bought the hell out of it. Okay? And that's why they can do this. And so when inflation is high, your gas is going to go up drastically. And it's going to go up, and it's going to go up, and it's going to go up. Year after year after year. Okay? It is. It's automatic. It's built into the system that we let them design. They locked us in this box. Okay? So don't just take my word for it. Let's switch over here real quick. Give me 1 second. Hakuna Matata. Let's go full screen here. And here we go. Yeah, so think about that. If you're traveling on this road every single day, how is that going to add up in your bank? Okay? How are you going to pay for that? And this one was really interesting as well. Okay, so we got to think about that as well, right? Think about older people and how easy it is to scam these older people. And so we're just creating another way for old people to get scammed on the daily, especially people traveling that live close to Indiana or that go to Terre Haute often or Indianapolis often. Like, for me as a commuter, it really discourages me from going to Terre Haute or going to Indianapolis for shopping or to dine or to whatever, when I can just go to St. Louis. I can go south, right? And I can save myself, it's about the same distance, and I can save myself that $30 or $40 it's going to cost me on that trip to drive to Indianapolis. Okay? So, like, these are the things that we have to be thinking about when we're allowing politicians to pass this kind of stuff. Like I've said, the way that they wrap this stuff up, it's in a neat little bow. It just looks so pretty. It's awesome. It's glistening, and we get took. And it's another tax on top of another tax. Okay? So I-70 was built to be a symbol of American freedom, a way to move people and goods across a vast continent without friction. And today, that friction is everywhere. It's in the $15 Indiana toll, it's in the 85-cent Illinois tax, and it's in the billion-dollar raids in Springfield. The road isn't just asphalt anymore, it's a ledger. And right now, the people living along I-70 are the ones being asked to to balance it. Okay? And so really, like, I'm just not in favor of this. I'm not in favor of any of this. I think this is a horrible, horrible, horrible idea, right? Especially in Effingham, when we're called the Crossroads of America, and so I've also heard that not only are they talking about doing this to I-70, but eventually to I-57, right? And that's going to create a bottleneck, and that could cripple warehousing jobs. It could cripple trucking jobs. It could cripple how goods and services are moved across the nation. It could absolutely drive the price of stuff up as well. Absolutely. Okay. And then, like I said, you also have to keep in mind that in Illinois, we're paying that dive on a double tax. It's a tax on top of a tax. Okay? So we are charged, don't forget, we are charged 6.25% after the other taxes are added. And so you're paying that 6.25% tax on top of the other tax, and that's being taxed as well. And that's one that will continually keep going up and up and up, that's based off of inflation. Okay? So we really have to start thinking about the politicians that we elect and the bullshit that we allow them to pass off as bills, because those bills will not only affect us today, but they're going to affect our kids, and they're going to affect us tomorrow, and the year after, and the year after, and the year after. And I don't know about you, but my paycheck, my wallet can't really afford much more taxes to pay for some asinine politician to screw us over and pocket our taxes or waste it on illegals or selling our infrastructure to overseas companies or whatever it is. Okay? We got to start asking questions. We got to start thinking critical. And we got to stop falling for this present that's wrapped up so neat in a nice little bow. Okay? So, with that, this is Breaking the System. I appreciate you guys watching. God bless. Have a good night. See you next time. Peace.